And having taken back control of our money, our borders, our laws and our waters by leaving the European Union on January the 31st, we now seize this moment to forge a fantastic new relationship with our European neighbours based on free trade and friendly cooperation. And in a minute, Mr. Speaker, at the heart of this bill is one of the biggest free trade agreements in the world, a comprehensive. I will happily give way.
Point of order, Ian Blackford.
Mr. Speaker, I'm seeking your clarification. I'm just wondering how on earth the Prime Minister can talk about taking back control of waters when Scottish fishermen are going to have less access and less fish to catch as a consequence of his con deal.
Can I just say, first of all, it's not a point of order. We're very limited on time. Can we please try and keep to a tight agenda to allow everybody the time to contribute? Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I must nonetheless correct, although that was not a valid point of order, I must correct him in what he says, because in fact, under this deal, we have taken back control of our waters, and indeed Scottish fishermen from the get-go will have access to bigger quotas of all the relevant stocks, Mr. Speaker, and from the end of the transition period, as he knows full well.
Sorry. Look, I understand it's an important day. It's important that we all get on the record. It's more important I also get to the Leader of the SNP. What I wouldn't like to do is run out of time by the number of times he wants to stand for interventions. If the Prime Minister gives way, he'll give way straight away. But please, let's try and get the debate underway. At least give yourself time to hear what he's got to say before you disagree. Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, with great respect to the right honourable, I do feel I must correct him, because not only will we take back control of our waters, we will increase Scottish fishermen's share of all the relevant stocks. Cod, for instance, going up by 47% to 57%. North Sea haddock going up by 70% to 84%. That's just next year, Mr. Speaker. And in 5.5 years' time, we take control of the entire spectacular marine wealth of Scotland. It is only the Scottish Nationalist Party, Mr. Speaker, that would hand back control of the waters of this country to the UK with spectacular hypocrisy, Mr. Speaker. And indeed, having said that they would.
Sorry, it is a point of order. Point of order, Ian Blackford.
And could you point out to the Prime Minister that the name of my party is the Scottish National Party?
In fairness, I have pointed it out in the past. It is the Scottish National Party, Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish the right honourable gentleman to know that I am using the word nationalist with a small n, and I don't think that he would disagree with that, which is semantically justifiable, I think, under the circumstances. And yet, in spite of that nomenclature, Mr. Speaker, they would hand back control of Scotland's waters and go back into the common fisheries policy. What this bill does, Mr. Speaker, is take back control. Absolutely not. Take back control of the spectacular marine wealth of Scotland and the rest of the UK. Because just in a moment, in the heart of this bill is one of the biggest free trade agreements in the world, as we've discussed in this chamber many times, Mr. Speaker, a comprehensive Canada-style deal worth over £660 billion, which, if anything, should allow companies to do even more business with our European friends, safeguarding millions of jobs and livelihoods in our UK and across the continent. In less than 48 hours, we will leave the EU single market and the customs union as we promised, and yet British exporters will not face a sudden thicket of trade barriers, but rather, for the first time in the history of EU agreements, zero tariffs and zero quotas. And just as we have avoided trade barriers, so we have also, Mr. Speaker, I think that plenty of members want to speak, so I've already taken plenty of interventions and points forward. I'm going to make some progress.